Part 33. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 321. Ji-Fei was stunned and confused for a while. No bad memories, just don't want to go back, physiological resistance. The whole family has the same idea as Ji-Fei. Xuanhuan said, in fact, we don't know whether it's really nothing or his memory is blurred. In fact, even if the Qin family has a good relationship, it is very painful to doubt them. Qin's father and mother also secretly investigated because of Qin Xian's reaction. But whether it is the surveillance found in the past, or the servants who worked at home, it is enough to prove that whether it is the stern old man, or Grandma Lu who treats the children as her heart, or other relatives who still live in this house, they all treat Qin Xian very well. Because he is smart and beautiful, brothers and sisters also like to get close to him at first, and it is not an exaggeration to say that he is a group pet. Even Grandma Lu's daughter, who is studying abroad and has no blood relationship with them, will only play with Qin Xian and tutor him every time she comes back. After discovering that Qin Xian has psychological problems, she is also actively helping and worried. The content of the investigation made it impossible for the Qin couple to doubt their family members. They could only think that returning to Y City might be a psychological shadow left by their parents for Qin Xian. Qin's father and mother felt very guilty, so they never forced Qin Xian to go back, and they would not even mention it later. It was a kind of tacit understanding that the rest of them would go back to celebrate the birthday. But the people in his hometown still cared about Qin Xian. The reason why Ji-Fei did not go in the first 2 years was because the people in his hometown heard the truth about Qin Xian and Ji-Fei's marriage and they didn't like Ji-Fei very much. They protected her and didn't want to see Qin Xian suffer such grievances. They thought that the Qin couple were fools and made Qin Xian suffer grievances again. Since Qin Xian was not coming back, they didn't need to see Ji-Fei. But this time, the other members of the Qin family actually invited Ji-Fei warmly. The change in attitude was so great because Qin Xian's behavior of pampering his wife had long been spread through the group. How could the other members of the Qin family not know about it? Because they love the house and the people in the house, everyone wanted to see the new head of the family. The Qin family couple also wanted to show off. After all, because of Ji-Fei, Qin Xian really became a better person. But now Qin Xian can't leave Ji-Fei, especially because of their collective return to Y City, so they are also quite hesitant, thinking that they should wait until the wedding to bring everyone here. And they are a little worried. After all, the collateral Qin family members who are currently known cannot hear Ji-Fei's voice, so what about the direct family? Ji-Fei's magical situation is still unclear. It is best not to involve too many people. Speaking of this, the Qin family naturally wants to consult Ji-Fei's thoughts. Ji-Fei's mind is now full of Qin Xian. She seems to understand why Qin Xian was initially slow to react to feelings, indifferent, and only mentioned other people's affairs. It seems that he doesn't care much, but he will do something to help behind the scenes. He is introverted and silent. So that's it? Ji-Fei's heart ached densely, and suddenly wanted to hug Qin Xian. Hearing the Qin family's question, Ji-Fei said directly, "Wherever my husband is, I will be there. I don't want to be separated from him." As if she was in a good mood, she made an exaggerated declaration, but Qin Xian, who had just arrived at the door of her house, heard it. Qin Xian blinked, froze at the door, and began to blush again. He coughed and finally said, "I said that if you want to accompany me to the company, in fact, it won't interfere with me." Ji-Fei. The Qin family heard this and knew that Qin Xian didn't hear the previous conversation. They breathed a sigh of relief, but they reacted and laughed and cried in an instant. These two guys were feeding them dog food again. Of course, Qin Xian couldn't be so brainless. In fact, he also realized that the other members of the Qin family were going back to Y City. He remembered that he actually sent gifts every year for his grandfather's birthday, and occasionally he would video chat with the old man, but he couldn't go back. Thinking of that place, Qin Xian's emotions are now very weak, but if you ask him if he wants to go, the answer is definitely no. Just thinking of Jifei, he felt numb and itchy in his heart. He should take Jifei with him to such an occasion. Just when Qin Xian was hesitant, Grandpa Qin called. Qin Xian was processing documents. When he heard the ringtone, he curled his lips and said, "Fei Fei, answer the phone for me." Jifei, who was accompanying him to work, was browsing entertainment gossip on the internet and picked up Qin Xian's phone. Before Jifei could speak, he heard a vicissitudes of life voice from the other side. "Qin Xian, you are not going to attend my birthday party again." Jifei was stunned, and immediately reacted, and said politely, "Hello, Grandpa, I am Jifei." "Wait a moment, I will let Qin Xian take over the call." The other party seemed to be stunned for a moment, and Jifei did not want to greet an elder he was not familiar with, so he immediately transferred the phone. Qin Xian knew who the other party was when he heard the name, and answered the phone and said, "Grandpa." Grandpa Qin was still gossiping. "Was that your wife just now? You were together during work hours? You let her answer your call? It seems that the rumors are true." In fact, although the old man's tone sounded good, it was intermittent, and the sound of the respirator operating could be heard in the background. "Fei Fei accompanied me to work, Grandpa, you called." Jifei looked at Qin Xian carefully, and heard the old man's slightly lower voice from the other end of the phone. "This year is my 90th birthday, and the relatives and guests who came are the most complete and the most. As the current head of our Qin family, shouldn't you bring the head's wife to make a formal appearance?" Qin Xian's eyes flashed, and he looked at Jifei beside him. Jifei shrugged to show that it didn't matter. "I don't care whether I show up or not. If Qin Xian doesn't like it, I won't go. Everything else is just a passing cloud." Qin Xian felt a little warm in his heart, and couldn't help but pull Jifei into his arms with one hand to feel the warmth. There was no reply on the other end of the phone, and continued, "I know my health. I don't know if there will be a chance to hold a birthday party next year. I want to take advantage of the fact that there is still an old man like me in the Qin family to support you, stand on the platform, and pave the way for you." In fact, the old man did have good intentions. Among all his descendants, Qin Xian was probably the only one who received a call from the old man himself, and the tone of persuasion was completely due to Qin Xian's special situation. After all, Qin's father retired too early, and Qin Xian was in charge of such a large business empire at a young age. Although his ability is unquestionable, and he even led the Qin group to a higher level, his qualifications always make some people jump out to cause trouble. The old man also wanted to take this opportunity to let everyone meet face to face, and let other members of the Qin family not have any second thoughts, whether now or in the future. After all, human hearts are unpredictable. The fact that the children have no problems does not mean that the grandchildren have no ambitions. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 322. So even if there is moral kidnapping, the old man still wants Qin Xian to go there. Don't let others ask why the head of the family didn't come. If he says it's because of the psychological shadow of his childhood, wouldn't it make people laugh out loud? Others have no empathy. The more I thought about it, the more I felt that the second couple were a little too cautious. After so many years, isn't Qin Xian very good? You have become such a young and outstanding business leader, why can't you take a trip to Y City? The old man came from that era and believed that only by enduring any hardship can one become successful. Having said so much, you should understand Grandpa's painstaking efforts. Can you come? The old man asked a little tiredly. Qin Xian closed his eyes and finally said, "Okay, I will take Jifei with me." Mr. Qin finally breathed a sigh of relief and said with uncontrollable joy, "Okay, okay." When Qin Xian hung up the phone, he looked down at Ji Fei nestled in his arms and smiled, "We plan to go to Y City with our family for a month." Ji Fei looked at Qin Xian dimly. "What's wrong? Don't want to go?" Qin Xian asked. "I feel so sorry for him, he is the one who obviously doesn't want to go." Qin Xian paused, and his heart seemed to be lit with a warm fire. He lowered his head and kissed Ji Fei's red lips gently. When Ji Fei's eyes were blurred, he said coaxingly, "But I want to take you there to let everyone know that you are my lover. So, can you come with me?" Ji Fei was immediately coaxed by Qin Xian and couldn't distinguish between east, west, north, and south. Her cheeks were flushed. She forgot to keep calm and didn't become a love-minded declaration, so she nodded in agreement. Qin Xian's eyes were full of love, and then he smiled and said, "By the way, the wealthy families and entertainment circles over there are in different areas from here, so you may get a lot of new things. Don't you look forward to it?" Ji Fei immediately became alert and said, "So, they don't know that I am the king of melon from a wealthy family and a judge of internal entertainment." Qin Xian was amused. It was obvious that Ji Fei had subconsciously accepted the setting. Qin Xian nodded, "I probably don't know." Then he sighed in a pretense, "But the first thing I may have to worry about is the family situation of my aunts and uncles." Ji Fei immediately pinched Qin Xian unhappily. Qin Xian immediately changed his mind, "No, it should be said that if there is a problem in their family, they are still waiting for Fei Fei's justice to save them." Ji Fei was laughing playfully when suddenly an idea flashed through her mind, so fast that she didn't even catch it. When they returned to Qin's house, everyone heard about Qin Xian's decision and were so scared that they didn't dare to move where they were. "Is it really possible?" Qin's mother immediately worried. "Don't force me, I will tell you for you." Father Qin also said quickly. Qin Yan also frowned and looked at it. Qin Xian smiled lightly and said it didn't matter, but the whole family still felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. Even Qin Chao and Qin Rong, who were abroad, frequently asked questions in the group and did not dare to relax. After that, Qin Xian began to work overtime. After all, he would be away for a month. Although many tasks could be handled remotely, preparations still had to be made in advance. On the last day before leaving, Qin's father and mother were still worried about whether Qin Xian would suddenly feel unwell. It wasn't until he boarded the private plane and took off that Qin Xian behaved very normally. Only then did everyone gradually let go of their tense hearts. While they were chatting, Qin Chao and Qin Rong flew directly to Y City from abroad. They set off earlier and would arrive early. They would pick everyone up then. Qin Xian was seen yawning. "Dad," Qin said, "I've been working too hard recently. I stayed up late last night. Why don't you go in and take a nap?" They were sitting in the sofa area, and there was an inner room-like room behind it, with a large bed in it. Qin Xian was indeed too tired. After the plane stabilized, he got up and walked back. After a while, he fell into a deep sleep. Although everyone tried to keep talking quietly outside. "How about Fei Fei? You can go in and accompany him," Dad Qin said. Qin's mother also said uneasily, "Pay attention to his body temperature, just in case he gets a fever suddenly." Qin Yan said, "Call us if you have anything." Ji Fei nodded, stood up and walked back, with Qin's father and Qin's mother whispering in her ears, praying silently in her heart. When she arrived at Y City, Qin Xian was really fine, and then she started blaming herself again. Ji Fei knew that Qin's father and Qin's mother still felt guilty about Qin Xian's situation. But I still don't know if it's because of Qin's father and Qin's mother. Yeah, I thought about it, and I happened to go there so I could investigate anyway. I'm not familiar with them, so I have reason to wonder if they have treated my Qin title badly before. Then let me take a closer look. If there are no problems, then we are a family. If there are problems, This was what Ji-Fei thought of before she finally reacted. This was the correct way to open her golden finger. Just because the Qin family had been too sure about her before and kept blaming themselves, Ji-Fei almost didn't become suspicious. Logically speaking, she should still be suspicious of everyone. After all, the eating system is not good. Come on, how do you know whether the person standing opposite is a human or a ghost? As Ji-Fei opened the door and entered the inner room, 3 stunned Qin family members were left, as well as a confused and ignorant little Qin 11. Qin Xian, who was sleeping, naturally heard nothing and only felt a familiar breath approaching. Qin Xian didn't sleep well this night. He seemed to have been in a quiet and depressing place. The feeling of being invisible bound made him unable to escape. As if to resist fear, his heart was gradually hollowed out until all emotions were lost, but it was so cold, and he didn't like the feeling of being so cold that it reached the depths of his soul. Suddenly, I felt pain in my collarbone. When Qin Xian woke up, he only felt the warmth in his arms, and the familiar body fragrance lingered on the tip of his nose, bringing an indescribable sense of security. I looked down and saw that someone was dazed in sleep, grinding his teeth on his collarbone. I don't know why I got into the habit of biting him. The ice and snow on Qin Xian's face, which was originally covered with ice due to the dream, melted instantly, like a spring breeze, and his eyes were filled with love and affection. He lowered his head and rubbed Ji-Fei's forehead with the tip of his nose, and then let Ji-Fei let go of his collarbone. Ji-Fei originally came in to look at Qin Xian and was worried about his physical condition, but it was really easy to get sleepy on a plane and it took such a long time, so Ji-Fei fell asleep in a daze, and in the end he slept better than Qin Xian. Die. He was restless in his sleep and kept burrowing into Qin Xian's arms. Qin Xian had no time to think about it and could only try to calm down. After all, he was on a plane and his family was still outside. He couldn't be embarrassed by Ji-Fei. Big face. Fortunately, the plane was about to descend. When the sound came from the radio, Qin Xian woke up Ji-Fei. Ji-Fei touched Qin Xian's face while waking up from his nap. He said vaguely, "How is your health? Do you feel uncomfortable?" The scenery of Y City gradually became clearer, and the 3 people of the Qin family outside the door became nervous again. Qin Chao and Qin Rong, who were waiting at the airport, also saw the relatives of the Qin family who came to pick them up. There were many people who came, and they came with great momentum. There were even media taking secret photos. When they see Qin Chao and Qin Rong, they have to confirm again and again, is Qin Xian really coming? Although the 2 of them were worried, they kept their secret secret. I told you that I would bring my second sister-in-law to see everyone, and I will definitely come. At this time on the bed, Qin Xian was amused when he saw Ji-Fei's dazed look. He directly held Ji-Fei's face and kissed her to prove that he was in good health and there was no need to worry at all. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After The Wife of a Wealthy Family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 323. Seeing Qin Xian and Ji-Fei come out smoothly, the Qin family breathed a sigh of relief. When the family walked out of the passage, they saw Qin Chao and Qin Rong standing in the middle of a group of people. They waved happily when they saw them. Everyone's attention was first on Qin Xian. Seeing that Qin Xian looked normal, everyone sighed. The last time he left the city was when he was 8 or 9 years old. It has been 20 years, although other relatives are more or less here. I have met Qin Xian elsewhere, but the meaning of being able to meet him in his hometown is still different. Seeing that Qin Xian was fine, everyone quickly turned their attention to Ji-Fei, who was holding Qin Xian's arm, and of course the little protagonist Qin 11. Naturally, Qin Yan notified her family of the fact that she recognized her son Qin 11. However, the last recognition banquet was held in a hurry. The Qin family meant that it would be held in the Qin family's hometown, but in order for Qin 11 to go to school and integrate into the circle. So we held it locally first, and only relatives of the Qin family from the same city were present. The dearest one here did not arrive due to various reasons, but only sent gifts. So just like Jifei, this was the first time we met. Naturally, they were most curious about Jifei. They had quite complicated feelings about this woman. After all, Jifei's way of getting to the position was disgraceful, and she was married to the head of the Qin family. No one wanted to see such a woman become the wife of the head of the family, but it seemed that the two of them had been in love for a long time. As relatives, they are supposed to love Wujiwu, so on the surface they will not cause trouble or embarrass Jifei. If they do this, it will be like slapping Qin Xian in the face. They will not do such things that harm the family. But I still care a little in my heart. I just hope that through this gathering, we can get to know each other better. So far, the first impression is okay. He is smiling and good looking. There is a natural tacit understanding with Qin Xian standing together. I really don't think she's the kind of girl who knows how to take drugs. Just as he was thinking about it, he felt Qin Chao and Qin Rong rushing over first. Qin Chao smiled and greeted his family. Qin Rong was even more direct. She went over and took Jifei's arm. "Second sister-in-law, I miss you so much." Qin's mother and Qin Yan were instantly jealous and said, "Don't you want us?" "I want it all, I want it all." Qin Rong smiled sweetly. "Why do you feel that Rong has become more beautiful?" Jifei said with a smile. Qin Rong immediately looked at Jifei with eyes wide open, wishing that she would be discharged. "Should it be, that we are in love, but don't be fooled again." "Qin Rong, don't mention my dark history." When the whole family looked over in confusion, Qin Rong quickly shook her head and said she didn't. "What are you shaking your head for?" Jifei asked curiously. Qin Rong looked at Jifei aggrievedly. "Maybe I think you've become prettier, so I shook my head to see if I was dazzled," Qin Chao said, still looking bad. "So you think I'm pretty too?" Jifei said with a smile. Qin Chao chuckled and said, "Yes, but it is also the credit of my second brother, the nourishment of love." Qin Chao nudged Qin Chao's title with his elbow in a teasing manner. The group could only tease him with words. They finally saw him, but they were not allowed to say a word. Qin Xian said with a smile in his eyes, "Fei Fei has always been beautiful." Qin Chao immediately made an expression as if he couldn't bear it. Now it was quite shocking to intuitively feel the second brother's iceberg blooming. Although Jifei blushed a little after being praised by Qin Xian, she still understood Qin Chao's teasing. He would forgive others with his mouth, but not in his heart. "Of course, we are the nourishment of love, unlike you, Qin Lao-san. Seeing that you haven't made any progress, I know that you probably don't dare to contact them after being here for so long. At most, you can look at their campus gates." "Qin Chao, I was wrong, eldest sister." Qin Xian blushed. "Love is very nourishing." The rest of the Qin family couldn't help laughing. The other relatives of the Qin family who gradually came over looked a little surprised at the interaction between these people. It also gave the surrounding relatives a sense of certainty. No matter what the external rumors were, at least Qin Lao's family had really accepted Jifei's daughter-in-law. When Jifei came out and saw so many people, her face instantly put on the biggest smile. Waiting for the Chinese New Year version of family recognition. However, it is naturally impossible to recognize everyone one by one on such an occasion outside. The elders say hello on behalf of the representatives, and then go out to greet them, planning to formally recognize their relatives when they arrive at the old house. Qin Lao and his family were all arranged in one car. Everyone has endless things to say when they meet. Lively and chattering. The atmosphere of other vehicles is different. Boss Qin, the elder of the Ants family, actually didn't come because the aunt and uncle were older and no longer traveled back and forth by car. They are cousins of the same generation. The eldest cousin brought her husband and children, as well as her single brother. Wen Qiang, Qin Xian is in good condition this time. Let's see if we can find an opportunity to mention the investment to him, the cousin-in-law said while driving. Qin Wenqiang frowned and said, "Didn't I mention it last time?" He felt it was inappropriate. "You have been communicating remotely online before. Maybe it will work if we meet up this time, have a drink and entertain you warmly. It is really a good project." "Maybe Qin Xian doesn't know enough about it," the cousin-in-law couldn't bear it. Zhu said. Qin Wenqiang said impatiently, "It's very rare for Qin Xian to come to Grandpa's birthday banquet this time, so don't make it difficult for him." The cousin-in-law couldn't help but sound a little anxious. How can it be an embarrassment? You can't be so unconcerned just because this is not Qin's industry. After all, it is an investment company that the two of us worked hard to build. "What do you mean by that?" Qin Wenqiang immediately said, displeased. "If I hadn't bothered, I wouldn't have asked Qin Xian about this matter. Grandpa has said that in our Qin family, the talent for doing business is no one can compare to Qin Xian. He is a genius." The cousin-in-law's face was a little stiff and he couldn't help but said, "Your brother is also a genius." Qin Yi, who was sitting in the back and playing the scale mobile game with his little niece, raised his head and said with a faint smile, "Qin Xian and I are incomparable. I have some talent in music at most, but Qin Xian has a real high IQ. I still remember that when he was 4 years old, he could solve my 8-year-old math problems." Qin Wenqiang listened directly. "You have the nerve to say that you can't finish your homework in order to practice the piano. Only you can think of asking your brother who is 4 years younger than you to help you. Is uncle so stupid? Not as good as a 4-year-old child?" the little niece asked the fatal question. Qin Yi scratched her niece's nose and smiled. "You seem to be 1 year older than the new junior, but it is said that his IQ is also quite high. When the time comes, if you don't know how to do your homework, don't look for me, look for him. Let me, he crushes your IQ." You, don't let my daughter learn from you." Qin Wenqiang immediately smiled. After The Wife of a Wealthy Family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yuze. Chapter 324. That's right, I'm not stupid either. I want to compete with him, but it doesn't matter if he's smarter than me. I can ask him for advice if I don't know how. As long as I know how, I won't lose to him, Yang Weiwei said proudly. Awesome, Qin Yi immediately smiled and pinched his face. Seeing that the atmosphere in the car was about to improve, his cousin-in-law Yang Feng spoke on business again. "Qin Yi, don't you think we shouldn't ask Qin Xian for help? We just want to make our own achievements. Being a Qin family company is always under the control of Qin Xian. There is nothing wrong with it, but it is also not a challenge. We also want to do something of our own." Qin Yi saw the visible disappointment of the little niece beside him. His eyes fell from the back of Yang Feng's head and he frowned slightly. Qin Wenqiang was displeased and was about to say something when she heard Qin Yi say, "Brother-in-law, you know that I don't care about the Qin group's affairs, and I don't understand, but I want to use Qin Xian's eyes to say that he can't do things. It must be impossible. At least for such a large Qin group, no new projects have gone wrong under his control. Is it difficult to accept negative opinions from others?" Qin Yi's gentle words made Yang Feng invisible. Qin Yi said again, "Sister, don't you make your own judgment." Qin Wenqiang was stunned, thinking of her initial judgment, and immediately said, "That's right, husband, the first time I saw the project document you gave me, I thought it wouldn't work. You didn't believe me, and you asked me to ask Qin Xian, and Qin Xian also said no. Why don't you believe it?" At this moment, Yang Feng's expression became even worse. Qin Yi glanced at the rearview mirror and felt funny in his heart. This brother-in-law really couldn't see his position clearly. In terms of business acumen, let alone Qin Xian, he couldn't even compare to his eldest sister. Why was he so unwilling to give up? Anyone in the industry who has been disapproved by the Qin family will have a clear mind and change a project. It's not like they won't be allowed to do other things. Okay, I won't say anything anymore. Yang Feng got angry, and Qin Wenqiang immediately ended the conversation to give her husband some face. At this time, the atmosphere in Qin Laosan's third uncle's family was also a bit tense. The third uncle came to pick up the family in person. According to the importance the third uncle attached to Qin's title, he was supposed to bring the third aunt with him. However, the third aunt was not feeling well now and did not come. Uncle Qin took his son and daughter to pick him up. At this time, Xuanhuan, the son of third uncle Qin, had a bad expression on his face. I still think today's pickup battle is too exaggerated. If it weren't for the conditions, wouldn't you still be planning to send out all the troops? The second uncle's family didn't even come back before. Seeing this, just because he has the title of Qin now. Even if he is in charge of the Qin group, you and your fourth uncle are both elders. Is it necessary to go there in person? Uncle Qin is a more serious father. After hearing this, he immediately said in a cold voice, I usually teach you how to teach you, and what I say is not measured at all. As Qin Xian's current temper, we all have the responsibility as elders. If we had it is not necessary for the second brother and sister-in-law to go out and shift the focus of work for the Qin family, nor is it necessary for Xiao Qin to be left alone in the old house without the company of his parents and cause psychological problems. It is rare that he has overcome the psychological barrier this time and can come back to see him. It seems like your grandpa should take it seriously. Xuanhuan actually didn't dare to talk back to his father, but at this moment he couldn't help but said, I'm surprised too. You still dare to choose someone with an unstable heart to be the person in power. What will happen if you wait a few more years? 2. If you want to quit, don't you and your fourth uncle still have one? Shut up, he is your cousin, what are you thinking? Uncle Qin already sounded a warning. Xuanhuan endured it and said, I'm just curious, that's what people outside say. Third Uncle Qin sneered, people here in Y City usually don't deal with Qin Xian directly, so they don't know. Do you think it's your second uncle who wants to retire? It's because he knows that he is not as capable as Qin Xian, so he can't stay. There is nothing he can do anymore, so I quit now. You just joined Qin's company and don't have permission to contact him. You will know after you work with your cousin a few times. Xuanhuan saw the proud expression on Uncle Qin's face and couldn't help clenching his fists. It was also because of Qin that his father, who had always been taciturn, could chat with him so much. But he just refused to accept it. Is Qin Xian so great? He doesn't think his father is worse than his second uncle, so he certainly doesn't think he is worse than Qin Xian. It's just that Qin Xian was born a few years earlier. You admired him when you were a child, and you don't even remember. Uncle Qin couldn't help asking because he was afraid that his son would be arrogant. Xuanhuan smiled dryly and said, I can't remember clearly. Uncle Qin thought for a while, and it was true that when Xuanhuan had memories, Qin Xian became less talkative. Anyway, from now on, you should learn more from him and follow him. You will hit wherever he points you. I guarantee you will do more than our generation. Your eldest cousin has always done this, and the two children from the Si family have grown up very quickly since they entered the company a year earlier than you. Even though he doesn't show much emotion, he has nothing to say to his relatives. Xuanhuan felt that he would be angry to death if he said such things to his father. Other families were fighting fiercely, but why was it that the Qin family was a bunch of fools, only to be manipulated by one or two smart people? But on one point, Qin Xian didn't seem to be very smart. He was actually tricked into marrying a good-for-nothing woman. Not only did the family behind him fall apart, he had no background at all. He himself was not a highly educated person. It was said that he was even a good-for-nothing woman. He became a comedian, and on this point, Qin Xian lost to him forever. Xuanhuan didn't want to discuss this topic, so he asked, "By the way, can you and mom tell us about your daughter in front of the whole family? We were supposed to bring Xingxin with us this time. But you said it was inappropriate." Xuanhuan complained a lot, not noticing that his sister Qin Jiaxi, who had been hiding in the corner and had been silent, shrank when she heard this. Uncle Qin frowned slightly. "I'm still considering it. I'll talk to your grandfather first. If your father doesn't agree, forget it." Xuanhuan immediately said angrily, "She saved mom's life." "Okay, I'll explain." Uncle Qin didn't notice his daughter's situation either. After all, this daughter has been very quiet since I don't know when. The happiest place at this time was in the car of Qin Lao Si. Uncle Qin was widowed in middle age, so the configuration was the same as that of the third uncle's family, with no wife but a pair of daughters. Uncle Qin smiled and said, "Why are you two so quiet? Weren't you excited because Qin Xian was coming?" Both of them had smiles on their faces, but their eyes were fixed on their phones, and their hands were constantly sending messages. Qin Jing smiled and said, "I'm excited. Didn't you see that I couldn't smile? Second brother is my idol. I feel shocked every time I see him. That kind of personal charm that comes from within is really not exaggerated. Qin Xiao, I'm excited too. I took several photos of second brother and sister-in-law when they weren't paying attention. Although third brother is already ridiculously handsome, I have to admit that second brother has a killer appearance, plus his ability, he is simply a perfect man. More perfect than your boyfriend," Qin Jing immediately teased his twin sister. "More perfect than you anyway," Qin Xiao retorted unyieldingly. "Second sister-in-law is also very beautiful. I feel that she suits my personality. If I like her, I have to find a way to get her." The two men immediately frowned and said in unison, "You can't do this. If you encounter a vicious person, I will call the police to arrest you." Qin Xiao smiled and waved her phone and said, "I don't take this route. My girlfriend is willing." "I'm afraid she didn't spend money on it," Qin Jing said naughtily. "It's better than your netizen you haven't met. You are also the only one among the third generation of rich people," Qin Xiao immediately criticized. The brother and sister started to pull each other. Uncle Qin suddenly had a headache. Soon, several luxury cars drove into the huge ancient manor where every inch of land was worth a lot of money. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yuze. Chapter 325. The Qin family was a little nervous at first. After all, it was in this old house that Qin Xian gradually became taciturn and autistic. "I'm afraid Qin Xian will be irritated if he really comes back here." As a result, after entering the outermost door, Ji Fei's voice never stopped, and the atmosphere could no longer be condensed. "Shit, is this a manor or a park? What's going on with the endless woods as far as the eye can see? Won't you get lost here? Oh my god, there are small bridges and flowing water, fountains and swimming pools, racecourses, children's playgrounds. I finally saw the building. Wait, this is a place where people live. It's a huge building that can't even be seen. It's a combination of Chinese and Western architectural styles. Are you sure it's not a landmark building somewhere? I used to know that the Qin family is a wealthy family, and I have been to many villas and estates of wealthy families, but I have never seen such an inhumane person." Ji Fei looked out the window and kept her movements unchanged, not wanting to appear too ignorant. But he didn't want his thoughts to be revealed. "The magnificence here is so spectacular that even Qin Xian's brothers will be amazed when they see it." Ji Fei turned to look at Qin Xian mechanically. "He is the head of the Qin family, and this is his family's real estate. Oh my god, I blame everyone for being too low-key. It turns out that I really married into a wealthy family and reached the pinnacle of my life. I suddenly found that today's Qin title is very special. Charm. Qin family, puff, puff, puff. Did you just realize it today? The worried atmosphere in the car all turned into muffled laughter. Everyone had to endure it very hard, and their shoulders were shaking. The corner of Qin Xian's mouth twitched invisibly a few times, and he looked at Ji Fei helplessly. Sure enough, he still had to make more money to always be attractive in the eyes of his wife. Seeing that Ji Fei really liked it, Qin Xian asked, "What do you think of this place?" The family members in the car were all shocked that Qin Xian took the initiative to ask here. Ji Fei gave a thumbs up, sincerely impressed. Qin Xian thought for a while and spoke again. "Want this place?" Qin family. Suddenly I felt that they shouldn't be so cautious. Why did Qin Xian say that as long as Ji Fei liked it, he would give it to his wife even if it caused him a psychological shadow? For it. Also, although you are the head of the family, haven't you never competed with other relatives for any property? If Ji Fei wants it, do you want to fight for the property rights here? Well, as long as Qin Xian wants, the Qin families will definitely be Qin Xian's. Who knows that he has now controlled the Qin family's right to speak. But the old man is still here. Grandpa still lives here. Isn't it a good idea to discuss it now? Ji Fei thought for a moment and shook his head. I just think it's spectacular. Although it should be very valuable, it must be very inconvenient to live in such a big place. It has been 5 minutes since I drove in and I haven't reached the door yet. The living area inside must be bigger, maybe from the sleeping place to the eating place it takes 10 minutes to walk. I am so lazy. If I lived here, I would be so tired and thin. Qin family, your perspective is really strange. And such a big place, it feels like it could easily be haunted. Several people in the Qin family who were afraid of ghosts immediately shrank their necks. Issues they had never considered before were suddenly awakened. Damn it, they didn't dare to sleep alone tonight. Qin Xian, it doesn't matter, I have my wife with me. Just like this, the car finally stopped in a square, and after getting out of the car, we faced a huge entrance. Soon, other vehicles arrived, and everyone excitedly opened the door and entered the reception hall. Ji Fei saw a solemn white-haired old man sitting at the head of the sofa from a distance. Although the old man was old, he was full of energy. When he saw them coming in, his bright eyes flashed, especially when he saw Qin Xian, tears seemed to flash through his eyes. His body moved, but he remained as still as a mountain. This is Mr. Qin. Sitting next to Mr. Qin was Grandma Lu with a loving face and red eyes. Grandma Lu couldn't sit still. When she saw them coming, she got up from the sofa and walked towards them excitedly, aiming directly at Qin Xian. "Ah, I'm finally here. It's good to be here. Did you have a smooth journey? Ah, this is Fei Fei. She's so beautiful. She's more beautiful than the ones on TV." Qin Xian supported Grandma Lu. Her expression was still calm, but her eyes were soft. Grandma Lu didn't think he was so cold. Instead, she happily patted Qin Xian's hand, and then took Ji Fei to look at it. "Go, look happy no matter what." Grandma Lu's loving and enthusiastic look immediately softened Ji Fei's ears. She almost took it for granted that how could such an easy-to-get-together grandma treat Qin Xian badly? But the next second, Ji Fei still had firm belief. He had already found out the names of Mr. Qin and Grandma Lu, so at this moment, Ji Fei directly looked up the key information. "Well, Mr. Qin, Grandma Lu, pass the test." Qin Xian was stunned for a moment and didn't understand what Ji Fei was talking about. He just quickly looked at the other relatives of the Qin family present. The people in Qin Lao's family naturally knew what Ji Fei was doing. When they heard this, everyone suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Naturally, what they couldn't accept the most was that this matter had something to do with their grandfather. As a person who had done so much for the children and grandchildren of the family, Grandma Lu didn't want such a person to be the one to her Qin title. Fortunately. However, they reacted quickly and secretly took a look at the reactions of other people present. It seems, no reaction. I was relieved immediately. After all, Ji Fei's inner voice just now was very abrupt, and anyone who heard it would not have no reaction. In fact, they also guessed that not all Qin family members could hear it. After all, several Qin family relatives had come in advance because of Qin 11's matter before, and they could not hear the inner voice. This time just verified this point more. Maybe it's because they are more important in Ji Fei's heart. The Qin family couldn't help but feel proud, as if they were recognized in some way. After Grandma Lu cared about Qin Xian and Ji Fei, she naturally wouldn't forget Qin 11 who came for the first time. If she wasn't in poor health, Grandma Lu wanted to pick up Qin 11, this little 11 is really like Xian when he was a child, so cute, good child, suffered outside, now he's fine, back, so good, so good. The old man coughed and signaled Grandma Lu to calm down. Aunt Lu forgets us old generation when she sees the younger generation. There was also an older couple sitting on the sofa, who were the eldest aunt and uncle who didn't come to pick up people. The two of them also stood up to greet them, and enthusiastically invited everyone to sit down and talk. But the Qin family came once a year, and they must bow to the old man and say hello, especially Qin Xian, Ji Fei, and Qin 11. Although the old man was earnest on the phone, when they met, the dignity of the head of the family still made him put on a majestic look, nodded, and then gave a big red envelope. Qin Xian gave it to Ji Fei as soon as he got it. Ji Fei held the red envelope as thick as a brick, and her smile became more sincere. It must be said that her emotional feedback from receiving the red envelope was the favorite of the elders. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After The Wife of a Wealthy Family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 326. Zioxi and Ji Fei were directly pulled by Grandma Lu to sit on the main sofa, next to her and the old man. Others sat down one after another. Because the eldest aunt's family is old, they basically live with the old man in the old house. The third uncle's family originally lived in Y City, so they often come back. The fourth uncle's family is in the next city G, so he also comes back frequently. At this moment, only the fifth aunt and the sixth uncle are left. The fifth brother-in-law has some problems with his business. Now his family is still dealing with it abroad. It is estimated that they will come back later. The sixth brother's family is waiting for his little princess to take the exam. After the exam, they will return home. And the seventh sister's family is still abroad, the eldest aunt said to everyone with a smile. Ji Fei reacted for a while, and then remembered that the so-called seventh sister should be Lu Maihe, the daughter brought by Grandma Lu. She is the youngest, so they are called the seventh sister. Qin's father said, I heard about it. By the way, let Ji Fei and Qin 11 recognize everyone first, otherwise these two little guys don't know how to call people. Let me do it, Dad. Qin Xian took the initiative to speak, which made the scene quiet for a moment. Although many people present had work handovers with Qin Xian and polite greetings, there were few opportunities to meet face to face, not to mention seeing Qin Xian take the initiative to do something, which always felt very strange. Qin Xian took Ji Fei's hand, silently comforted her, and then introduced them one by one from the eldest aunt's family. The eldest aunt's family includes the eldest aunt, the eldest uncle, the eldest cousin Qin Wenqiang, the cousin's husband Yang Feng, and their daughter Yang Weiwei. And the eldest cousin Qin Yi. Ji Fei maintained a standardized smile, took the initiative to greet, and scanned them one by one, matching the names. The eldest aunt's family, well, passed. Qin Lao's family, relieved. Qin Xian? Qin Yan also took the initiative to ask Qin 11 to call people. When introducing Yang Weiwei, the two children of similar age quickly developed a family relationship and friendship. It is estimated that they will be able to play together later. The eldest aunt smiled and said, "Before, Dad and Aunt Lu insisted on dragging us to watch a show together. It was the one performed by Ji Fei and Qin Xiao. The performance was great. You are even the champions." After the eldest aunt broke the news, everyone knew that the old man and Grandma Lu had watched the mainland variety show she and Qin Xiao participated in. The older ones may not see the essence of it, nor will they watch the real-time barrage, but they know that they win every time. Fortunately, I don't know what the mainland internet is like from their appearance, otherwise I can't eat melons properly for a while. The family of Qin Lao couldn't help laughing and catered to the topic of the eldest aunt. But someone didn't see it. Yang Feng said directly, "By the way, Qin Xian, do you think there is anything wrong with the new project I mentioned to you before?" Qin Wenqiang and Qin Yi's faces were stiff. I don't know whether to say he is ambitious or inconsiderate. It was originally his turn to introduce the people from the third uncle's family. Qin Xian said lightly, "We don't talk about business at home." Yang Feng was blocked by one sentence, and his tone was even more intimidating. Yang Feng couldn't get angry no matter how unhappy he was, so he could only smile awkwardly. Ji Fei couldn't help but roll his eyes when he saw Yang Feng's unfriendly face. "So obsessed with career, I'll check. Oh, there's gossip." Everyone in Qin Lao's family was shocked. Although they had been mentally prepared to bring Ji Fei here, they might accidentally know some gossip about family members, but they didn't expect it to come so soon. Although the focus is to find out the problems related to Qin Xian's childhood, now, who let Yang Feng run into the gun? What gossip? What's the matter? Tell me quickly. Qin Yan, Qin Xiao, and Qin Rong wanted to touch the melon seeds on the coffee table. The eldest cousin, Qin Wenqiang, took over the position in the eldest aunt's family. She is a decisive and swift leader, but the eldest cousin seems to be unaware that her husband has a mistress and a bunch of illegitimate children behind her back. Qin Lao's family. It doesn't seem so surprising, but when I think about it carefully, I really want to stand up and beat him up. Good guy, really a good guy. I remember that Yang Feng had spent a lot of effort to pursue Qin Wenqiang, and he also worked hard in the Qin family afterwards. Even if Qin Wenqiang chose to have only one child because of the pain of giving birth, Yang Feng had no complaints to the outside world. He is considered a famous good son-in-law in the circle. It turns out that you can't know a person's heart by his appearance. He even deceived a woman as smart as Qin Wenqiang, and deceived her for so long. It's unimaginable. So that's it. In fact, it's a new company he runs in name, it's opened with his wife, but in fact, the assets have nothing to do with Qin Wenqiang. It's just to settle his mistress's family, as well as various relatives and friends, including his own children. After all, it would be too risky to arrange for them to join the Qin group. And he's also preparing for a rainy day if he really falls out with Qin Wenqiang one day. He still has this company as a retreat, so he desperately wants to cheat money from Qin Xian to fill his own company. Qin Lao's family looked at Yang Feng, who was embarrassed on the opposite side, and their faces were really ugly. Yang Feng has gradually recovered his mentality, but he was a little confused when facing the covetous look on the opposite side. Didn't he just want to use Qin Xian's use to get some benefits for the new company? Why are they looking at him like this? As if they have a grudge. This brother-in-law is born in the year of the rat, right? He secretly moved things from the Qin family to his own home. No, absolutely not, This is equivalent to robbing my money. Qin Lao's family, very good, you have already realized your potential as the mistress of the house. Scumbag, you are unlucky to have run into me. I will find an opportunity to expose you in the name of justice. Qin Lao's family, yes. Expose. Qin Xian, are they going to get rid of Li's family right away? He silently took out his phone and sent a message. Anyway, there were people he could call on here. Expose the scumbag and start with collecting evidence. Yang Feng shuddered inexplicably. Didn't he just propose a project at an inappropriate time? Why did he feel a chill down his spine? The look in the eyes of the family opposite him was getting more and more creepy. Perhaps the atmosphere was a little awkward. Qin Yi couldn't stand it. He, who was relatively gentle, immediately talked to the children to change the subject and asked Qin 11 directly if she had learned any musical instruments. The scumbag was not worth paying attention to. Divorce was already scheduled, so Ji Fei's attention was quickly diverted. This cousin is a vocal teacher at a top music school and a famous baritone. Oh, I suddenly found that he is as handsome as Qin Chao. He is a gentle and elegant handsome man with an artistic atmosphere. He is different from Qin Xian and Qin Chao. Tisk tisk tisk, pleasing to the eyes. Qin Xian. Qin Chao, hey, how come he is not inferior to me? I am younger than him. Other female relatives of Qin Lao's family, Indeed, I haven't noticed it before. Fei has a good eye for beauty. I wonder if this cousin will be asked to perform talents when he is at home during the Chinese New Year. Qin Chao, I won't compare this. Fortunately, my family won't do this. Qin Xian, it seems that I have seen this cousin being asked. Ha ha ha, so that's the case. The recent leave is not all to come to see relatives, but to avoid love debts. Everyone in Qin Lao's family, what melons have you eaten again? They remember that Qin Yi is a single person, so he has no marriage partner at the age of 30. How can he have love debts? Qin Xian looked at his cousin curiously. My most devoted student confessed his love to me at school, no wonder I had to avoid him. Qin Lao Er's family, he gossip. Qin Yi, who had no idea that he had been exposed, shuddered. What was going on? He felt a sudden chill. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yuze. Chapter 327. Because Qin Yi changed the topic, Qin Xian took over the conversation smoothly and began to introduce the third uncle's family to Ji Fei. The third uncle's family includes the third uncle and the third aunt. Although they got married not late, they had children late, so the eldest brother of the pair of children just graduated from graduate school this year, named Xuanhuan, and the younger sister is a freshman, named Qin Jiaxi. Ji Fei naturally searched for the issues that he was most concerned about first. The third uncle's family, the people present, well, past, but it's hard to say if the third aunt is not here. Qin Lao's family, a brief sigh of relief. Qin Xian was stunned, and glanced at Ji Fei with his peripheral vision, thinking. The third uncle was the first to explain, I'm sorry, your third aunt could have come with you today, but... At this point, the third uncle's majestic face actually showed a hint of softness and embarrassment. Dad, everyone, Xuanhuan is pregnant, and it's been 3 months. As soon as this was said, the whole audience was in an uproar, and the joy of welcoming the new life filled the hall. Oh my God, Uncle San and Aunt San must be quite old, they can have another child. While thinking, Ji Fei's eyes swept to Qin's father and mother. Qin's father and mother trembled immediately. They couldn't do it. They were over 50, definitely not. And they had given birth to enough children. They had the most children among the Qin brothers and sisters. The other brothers and sisters laughed in silence. Uncle San said, some time ago, Xuanhuan had a small car accident, which made the fetus unstable, so I didn't dare to tell everyone. She is still recuperating for a while. I will bring Xuanhuan here when she is stable. Qin's father and mother must have immediately said that there is no need to rush. Grandpa Qin and Grandma Lu were even more happy. Xuanhuan is also an elderly mother. You family must pay more attention to her and spend more time with her. Just come on her birthday, Grandpa Qin said excitedly. After all, this may be the last newborn he sees in his lifetime. Seeing his grandfather happy, Xuanhuan suddenly said excitedly, Grandpa, you don't know yet, in fact, my mother was in a car accident that day thanks to a girl who saved her. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened. She saved my mother and my unborn brother and sister. My mother and I think we should repay her well, so we plan to let our family adopt her as an adopted daughter. The sudden insertion of such a topic made the whole audience quiet down. Grandpa Qin was also stunned. Ah! Is that the case? Then he looked at Uncle Qin-san. Uncle San's face changed slightly, and he glanced at Xuanhuan unhappily. It was a girl who saved Xuanhuan. She was also Jiaxi's friend. Because the orphanage she lived in before was assisted by Xuanhuan when she did charity, she was very grateful to Xuanhuan. She used to come to our house occasionally to play. Xuanhuan always liked her. They were together when the accident happened. It was the girl who risked her life to save Xuanhuan from the car that had an accident. It seems that she is really a brave and kind child who knows how to repay kindness. Grandma Lu was soft-hearted and sighed directly. Uncle San said, I originally wanted to prepare a thank you gift to express my gratitude. Ah, Dad and Mom said that giving money is insulting. She is so sincere to our family, why can't she be our daughter? I treat her as my own sister anyway, Xuanhuan immediately argued. Uncle San said, okay, don't say it. Adopting a child is not that simple. I will discuss it with your grandfather, and Qin Xian later. Obviously, Uncle San didn't want to say the matter to the end now, and other people of the same generation didn't speak either. The younger generation looked at each other in bewilderment. Huh? Strange, Uncle San is so unwilling to give in? Qin Lao's family thought Uncle San's attitude towards adoption was not strange. Soon, Ji Fei also found out. So that's the case. The interests of the Qin family are closely linked. If you adopt a child, you may enjoy all kinds of benefits of the Qin family. This is something that even the cheating cousin-in-law just now dared not think about. This is equivalent to touching everyone's interests. Although everyone does not care about the assets that a little adopted daughter may obtain, Uncle San is cautious and strict. He is not willing to do things that make people feel uncomfortable. If he makes an exception, then so many relatives will adopt children, which will be a mess. So his initial idea is to give money. The grace of saving her life should be enough for her to have food and clothing for a lifetime. Why must she adopt? Qin Lao's family naturally doesn't care about this matter, but there is no guarantee that other people will not have ideas in their hearts, so they will not express their opinions. But Xuanhuan heard that his father not only asked his grandfather but also Qin Xian, and he immediately felt unbalanced. As a result, the next second, Grandpa also said, I am old, you should discuss this matter with Qin Xian later. The Qin family was speechless. Grandpa was afraid of trouble and directly put the blame on their Qin Xian. Qin Xian's expression did not change at all, and he was quite calm and composed. Others did not have any ideas. After all, there was probably only this idiot cousin who did not obey Qin Xian. Uncle Qin also gave Qin Xian a look, indicating that he would talk about it privately later. And Xuanhuan finally understood that in this family, the old man was the honorary head of the family, but Qin Xian was the one who actually held power. Xuanhuan did not expect that he had to get the consent of a cousin to have a sister. He immediately ignored the need to change the subject and continued to insist, smiling, second brother has so many brothers and sisters, so he doesn't mind having one more in our family, right? Yo, this kid seems very unconvinced. Oh, so that's why he thinks his father has made great contributions to the Qin family, not inferior to Qin's father, so he thinks he can be evenly matched with Qin Xian. Qin Lao's family doesn't care much. A big family that is ironclad will not last for more than 2 generations. There are always some rebellious people. It's normal. But Ji Fei seems a little angry. You have just graduated from graduate school at this age, and my husband has already taken over the company. Who gave you the courage to be narcissistic? Qin Lao's family, oh, your husband is the best. Qin Xian slightly raised his mouth. Qin Han saw that Qin Xian's expression suddenly softened, and thought that this matter was easy to discuss. Xian is really a good girl, worthy of being the daughter of our Qin family. This positive attitude, do you like this sister so much? The strangest thing is this Qin Jiaxi. I found that among her peers, only this little girl never spoke from beginning to end. Others were lively. As the eldest daughter of the Qin family, how could she have such a temper? Didn't they say they were her friends and often went there to play? She should be the one who should actively promote it. It's too weird, I'll check it out. In fact, Qin Lao's family also thought that the reaction of the brother and sister in Qin Sansu's family was very strange. Qin Xian raised his eyebrows slightly to buy time for Ji Fei's investigation. Did your whole family agree to the addition of a new member? After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 328. Life-saving grace. Adopting a girl is indeed not a big problem. At most, the range of assets she can accept is limited to the existing range of the uncle's family, so that other relatives can't say anything. If the girl has the ability to work, then she should be well trained and get more for more work. But the key issue is that the appearance of this girl is welcomed by the whole family. Qin Xian protects his shortcomings, and the first thing to protect is the Qin family. Qin Han immediately said actively when he heard it, my mother and I agree, and Dad doesn't object, right? After speaking, Qin Han winked at his father. Uncle Qin paused and responded vaguely. He didn't object, but in fact he felt a little weird in his heart, but he couldn't remember what was wrong for a while. Qin Han got support and looked at Qin Xian, looking determined to win. Look. Qin Xian's expression did not change at all, and he remained silent. Qin Han waited for a few seconds and said impatiently, any questions? Qin Xiao, who was standing by, couldn't stand it. He was not a good-tempered person and had already started to be unhappy with Qin Han's attitude towards Qin Xian, not to mention that Qin Han's current behavior really made him want to roll his eyes, so he said bluntly, oh, so there are only 3 people in your family. Qin Han was stunned for a moment, and he didn't react for a while to what Qin Xiao was mocking. Qin Rong, who was about the same age as Qin Jiaxi, couldn't help but say, Brother Han, why don't you ask Jiaxi's opinion? Second brother clearly said that he wanted the whole family. Perhaps Qin Jiaxi's presence was too weak, so for a moment, others really forgot that she hadn't expressed her opinion yet. After saying this, everyone's eyes gathered. Qin Jiaxi was obviously not used to the feeling of being noticed by everyone, and she was uncomfortable all over. After all, no one had ever asked her opinion before, and the relatives of her second uncle's family suddenly asked her, and she really didn't know what to do. Qin Han reacted, and a flash of disgust flashed across his face. He was actually sitting next to Qin Jiaxi, but he didn't ask a question at all, and directly said, what does she know? Her opinion is not important. As soon as this was said, not to mention others, the old man's face changed on the spot. What are you talking about? As long as they are children of our Qin family, their opinions are important. Qin Han's face flushed immediately. Obviously, he didn't expect to be taught a lesson. He immediately turned his anger away and immediately raised his hand to pull Qin Jiaxi beside him and said, I'm asking you, what's your opinion? Qin Han's attitude towards Qin Jiaxi made some relatives around him uncomfortable. But they are siblings, and they don't know how they get along with each other, so it's not easy to say anything without going through Uncle Chin-san. Uncle Chin was just stunned for a moment, and then he didn't react. Obviously, he didn't think such an attitude was abrupt. After all, in Uncle Chin's opinion, his daughter was indeed too boring, always absent-minded, and didn't know what she was thinking. Chin Jiaxi couldn't help but blush, but she quickly lowered her head, and her thick bangs covered all her emotions. I don't have any objections, I'll listen to my parents. Xuanhuan instantly breathed a sigh of relief, with a somewhat proud look on his face. Fortunately, he had severely taught Chin Jiaxi a lesson before, so that she would learn to be a little better and not be allowed to bully Uxin again, otherwise, it is unknown how she would have bad intentions to oppose Uxin's entry into the Chin family. Is this okay? Xuanhuan spoke immediately. In fact, he had subconsciously recognized Qin Xian's status, as if as long as Qin Xian nodded, this matter would be considered a success. But he found that Qin Xian's expression remained unchanged, but his eyes looked colder and colder. Not only him, but the second uncle's family looked at him with an unfriendly look, which made him inexplicably panic. What a bastard, you don't want a biological sister, but a love sister, right? Because I went to the orphanage with my third aunt to do charity, I have known this girl named Uxin since childhood. It is not a big problem to take care of her, but it is a bit inhuman to let your own sister be wronged because of an outsider. Because Xuanhuan and Qin Jiaxi are both in front of me, I can compare many melons in my mind and know the truth. This Uxin is a vicious and scheming girl. She has officially appeared in their circle of life since high school, and Qin Jiaxi has also entered a hellish life since then. Uxin would pretend to be bullied and targeted by Qin Jiaxi in front of Xuanhuan, and secretly say some cruel words to stimulate Qin Jiaxi, forcing Qin Jiaxi to have an attack, and then she would pretend to be wronged in front of Xuanhuan. In short, she was all kinds of provoking and framing. The girl who was originally cheerful now looks so gloomy. She was completely forced. The people in Qin Lao's family were surprised to hear this. It was hard to imagine that someone who suddenly appeared would be so easy to deceive people. Ji Fei also found it incredible. After all, this is her own sister. Even if she is a great actress, shouldn't the so-called closest relatives be the ones you should trust the most? Is he really so stupid that he would choose to believe an outsider without verifying the facts when the two sides' statements are different? Not only him, in Qin Jiaxi's memory, third aunt was also deceived and sided with Uxin. What kind of world is this where right and wrong are reversed? The Qin family gasped when they heard this. What the hell? Third uncle's wife is also a fool? What about third uncle? And third uncle is busy with work and has little contact with his daughter. He leaves all family conflicts to his wife and is often not at home. He has become numb in his perception and thinks that his daughter's personality has gradually become like this. He has no idea that his daughter is experiencing family bullying. Qin's father and mother couldn't help but look at third uncle Qin. Work is important, but you should also pay attention to your children's education, idiot. Wait, why is there still school bullying? Qin Lao's family was shocked. Could it be that Uxin could still control the people in the school? So lawless, or did Xuanhuan help the evil from a distance? What the hell, my boyfriend Suzy is the school hunk, so he was bullied by other celebrities in the school. Wait, the school doesn't know her identity because Aunt San and Xuanhuan don't allow her to tell others about her identity, worried that Uxin, who goes to school with her, will be discriminated against. I can't understand this logic. Uxin and Qin Jiaxi are not the wrong ones, right? Qin Lao's family was also confused. Su should be a big family in Y City that is on par with their Qin family. So he is also a rich young master? There is nothing wrong with being Qin Jiaxi's boyfriend, but how could he cause Qin Jiaxi to be bullied? And what kind of stupid thing is the third daughter-in-law doing? If Qin Jiaxi didn't look a bit like Qin Yan, Qin Rong, and the daughter of the fourth family, they would have asked the same soul-searching questions as Jifei. I just can't bear to read this. Is this the standard configuration of the heroine in some abusive novel? Her father doesn't care, her mother doesn't love her, her brother doesn't care about her, and her relationship with her boyfriend is not going well. No wonder she looks so depressed and inferior now. The woman who caused her to be bullied frequently wants to become her family. It can't be more disgusting. Why did she agree? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 329. It turns out that I feel that it is useless to object anyway. My mother and brother like UXI and more, and I will be blamed if I object. Oh my God, such a pessimistic thought. What have you experienced, and you have no ability to resist at all? Qin Lao's family all started to frown in unison. Qin Han thought that his family was really so petty and careless about adopting a person. I wipe my eyes. Are they still relatives? Jifei's heart suddenly burst. Qin Lao's family didn't know what she saw, and their expressions became even worse. Not long ago, because Uxian robbed the clothes given by her father, when she wanted Uxian to return them to her, Uxian fell and cried, and even tore the clothes, which instantly made Qin Han go crazy. Qin Jiaxi was forced to kneel down and apologize, but Qin Jiaxi refused and was slapped hard by Qin Han. Depend on. Jifei's fist hardened, and the eyes of Qin Lao's family looking at Qin Han started to get angry. There was silence for just 10 seconds, and the increasingly condensed atmosphere made other people around them quiet down, wondering what was going on. And the third aunt doesn't care about her daughter's miserable situation and wants her to apologize to Uxian. She showed a very disappointed and angry look without apologizing. In Qin Jiaxi's opinion, this was more uncomfortable than a slap from her brother. In the end, she could only numbly surrender and apologize to Uxian. I'm sorry, I'm so angry. I won't agree anyway. If such a despicable person enters the Qin family, part of the money my husband earns from now on will be given to her as dividends. I won't do it. Qin Xian lowered his eyes and no longer looked at Qin Han. He stretched out his hand and silently held Jifei's hand, silently comforting her. Don't make your wife angry because of these scumbags. Qin Lao Er's family glanced at Uncle Qin with cold eyes. Uncle Qin felt like he was being hit by several arrows. He thought that the second brother's family was probably blaming him for not taking care of Qin Han and asking him to be aggressive here and force Qin Han to make a decision. He actually felt it was inappropriate. Okay, the whole family's not objecting is the first step. I will talk to your cousin later, Uncle Qin said solemnly to Qin Han. Qin Han was about to speak when Qin's mother suddenly interrupted with a smile. Ah, third child, your family must love their daughter very much. Ah, Uncle Qin was stunned and didn't react for a while. Qin Han also frowned and looked over. Qin's mother was soft-hearted. After listening to Jifei's words, she couldn't help it at all, and said directly, there is no way that someone who doesn't even like to pamper their own daughter would turn their elbows outward and hurriedly adopt and pamper an outsider. So, I just thought that your family must love Jiaxi very much, just like our Rong, she must be as pampered as a little princess. As Qin's mother spoke, Qin Rong nestled in her mother's arms cooperatively. The bright sunshine was like a child growing up in a honey jar. He could see the light from the bottom of his eyes. Not only Qin Rong, but also Qin Yan, even if she was wasted by marriage, this period time is also recovering well. Not to mention them, the eldest cousin Qin Wenqiang and the daughter of the fourth uncle's family are all confident and high-spirited. At first glance, they are the daughters of the Qin family. In comparison, Qin Jiaxi's style of painting is simply not the same as theirs. If she didn't look similar, she would be a skinny, gloomy girl with no energy. The corners of the mouths of everyone present began to twitch. What a spoiled little princess, to put it bluntly. Qin Jiaxi can't even reach the level of the maid next to the princess. Qin Yan smiled and cooperated with her mother. The third uncle and the third aunt must have given Jiaxi a lot of love and a sense of security. Only then could he decide to adopt an additional child. Like sense of security? You wouldn't know without comparing, but you'd be really shocked when you compare. Normally, Qin Jiaxi is quiet and has a low sense of presence. If he doesn't come into contact with anyone, he won't have the extra thought to notice anything strange. But now, the elders are looking at Uncle Qin one after another. That expression is already very obvious. You have raised your own daughter like this and you have the nerve to adopt another daughter? Uncle Qin finally realized why he felt something was wrong just now. With one more daughter, wouldn't the original daughter's status be very embarrassing? This kind of thing would be awkward no matter how you do it, unless the original daughter is the one who desperately wants a sister. And his daughter, could it be because they didn't raise her well that she became like this? Uncle Qin couldn't help but look at Qin Jiaxi, who was huddled in the corner of the sofa. He always felt that he was so small and pitiful. Look at other girls of the same generation. Uncle Qin, who had always left the raising of children to his wife, couldn't help but feel anxious at this moment. Awesome, I heard it. Mom and eldest sister were mocking them. Sure enough, even if you don't know the inside story, looking at Qin Jiaxi's condition, you still think it's unreasonable to adopt another girl. Judging from the appearance of third uncle, he seems to have some insights, but he just doesn't know about that white-eyed wolf brother. Looking at Qin Han again, his expression was indeed ugly. He had obviously heard something, but he gave Qin Jiaxi a hard look. Yo, I'm blaming Qin Jiaxi. I think she's deliberately pretending to be an act and wants to ruin the adoption of her daughter. Is this my brother? How could you think of your own sister so viciously? When Qin Lao's family heard this, their noses were almost crooked with anger. Qin's father also came and said directly to Qin Lao San, it's better to think about this kind of thing clearly. There is no need to say this tone clearly. Qin Lao has obviously expressed his disapproval of this matter. Uncle Qin also took a deep breath. Let's forget it. I don't think it's appropriate. Qin Han didn't expect that things would turn out like this before Qin Xian said a word. He was furious. Dad, you just promised, how could you go back on your word? Have you forgotten that if it weren't for Xin, we don't know what would happen to my mother and the baby in her belly? Isn't our Qin family always grateful? If outsiders knew, they would laugh at our family. Uncle Qin's face changed immediately. How dare you, so many elders are here, have you made enough trouble? Qin Han was frightened by Uncle Qin's suddenly cold face, but he still had the majesty of a father, so he didn't dare to say much for a while. Puff, it's what you deserve. You always talk about kindness. I really can't see that such a despicable girl in Qin Jiaxi's eyes would sacrifice herself. Oh, wait. The Qin family was relieved because Uncle Qin changed his words, but suddenly heard this, and their hearts were lifted. Is there something else? Come on. Did the one named Xin save Aunt San and Qin Han in the previous life? He actually did this for her. Qin Lao's family, what? What did he do? Qin Xian was curious. Then he heard Ji Fei say with great contempt. Oh, what life-saving grace, I am dying of laughter. It turns out that in order to let the Qin family adopt Xin, Aunt San and Qin Han deliberately designed a fake car accident, took some photos and videos, and let Uncle San see that it was Xin who helped Aunt San out of the smoking and damaged car. Everything is fake. After the wife of a wealthy family was read by her mind, the melon field was full of wild animals. Author, Yuze. Chapter 330. Qin Lao's family. Damn. The life-saving grace is still fictitious. Are they kidding the Qin family? Are Qin Lao-san's wife and son crazy? Qin Xian suddenly sneered silently. Regardless of whether Aunt San and Xuanhuan were crazy, the relationship between Xuan and the two had to be investigated. There are no brain-dead people in the world for no reason. At least, we have to find evidence to let Uncle Qin know what the life-saving grace looks like. See how his closest people are calculating him. Jifei was also furious when she saw the truth from Xuanhuan. She took so much trouble for an outsider, even cheated Uncle San, but was so cruel to her close relative Qin Jiaxi. I am not curious about Xuanhuan, a beast who thinks with his lower body, but Aunt Qin, what kind of person can do such a thing? I am really looking forward to meeting her. It's best if Qin Xian's affairs have nothing to do with her, otherwise fortunately, there is still Uncle Qin San who knows what to do, otherwise Qin Jiaxi would be miserable. Qin Xian listened to Jifei's complaints as usual, but suddenly froze. Qin Lao's family on the side suddenly became nervous. He took a quick look and saw Qin Xian looking at Jifei steadily. Qin Xian looked at Jifei with a deep gaze, as if he had confirmed something. The clenched hands gradually turned into a clasp of 10 fingers. A smile gradually accumulated at the end of his eyes. Seeing this scene, Qin Lao's family breathed a sigh of relief. The matter of adopting a daughter was considered to be unresolved under the decision of Uncle Qin San, but it also destroyed the atmosphere of the first gathering of relatives today. After that, Xuanhuan leaned directly on the sofa to play with his mobile phone, probably contacting someone, with a very sour face, but no one paid attention to him. The fourth family hasn't recognized anyone yet. The eldest aunt changed the subject stiffly. Qin took over the conversation and began to introduce Jifei. The three people in the fourth uncle's family were not affected by the episode just now, and they were so happy. Jifei couldn't help laughing in his heart. They are really generous, a family of 3, and they just ate melons. Just from this point, I can predict their safety, haha, as expected, they passed the test. Qin Xian smiled, and just rubbed Jifei's tender back of the hand with his clasped fingers. My wife has worked hard. He knew that it was not difficult to judge that there might be bad experiences in childhood due to various psychological reactions and his missing memories. He never took the initiative to investigate because he thought it was not important. The psychologist said that this was also abnormal, and even suspected that he had given himself some psychological hints. But he really had no motivation to do these things. Now it seems that his wife is very worried about him. Maybe he should try to recall it. But, every time he tried to find it, he always felt that there was a barrier blocking him. After Jifei checked the fourth uncle's family, because there was no one else to know later, he simply made it equal and took out the melons of the fourth uncle's family to eat. Aunt Si passed away a few years ago, so Uncle Si shifted his energy to work and his 2 children. Look, this is the contrast. Uncle Si can educate his children as both a father and a mother. At least they have no psychological problems and have a harmonious relationship. Unlike Uncle San, although I heard that Uncle San's business ability is second only to Qin Xian, it is still quite sad. Qin Lao's family also thinks so. The twins of Uncle Qin Si are really good. There is nothing wrong with their behavior and they always have a hearty smile on their faces. Qin Xian is also familiar with the twins. After all, they have started to work together. They have been educated with good business acumen and are worth cultivating in the future. Ha ha ha, how can the love between these 2 people be so funny? But Uncle Si doesn't care, as long as his children are happy. Qin Lao's family became curious when they heard it. What kind of love is so funny? However, Jifei doesn't think about everything in his heart, so Qin Lao's family can only find a way to satisfy their curiosity. Fortunately, such questions can be asked directly. You 2 will be 27 after the Chinese New Year, right? Do you both have a partner? Qin's mother asked with a smile. The 2 of them immediately felt embarrassed. Seeing that there was a chance, Grandma Lu and the eldest aunt immediately asked about it, and asked if they could come to Grandpa's birthday party. As a result, the twins spoke at the same time, and they spoke about each other very tacitly. Qin Xiao said, "My brother's girlfriend is an online romance, and we haven't met yet." Qin Jing, "My sister's boyfriend is a gamer, and she spent money to marry him." Soon they spoke at the same time to attack each other. Qin Jing, "We have video chatted, but we haven't met in real life." Qin Xiao, "We are fulfilling our esports dream together, and I made money by investing in the team." The two of them quarreled as soon as they disagreed, which made people around them laugh. Uncle San could see the tacit understanding between the brother and sister, and then looked at his own children. Obviously, there is a big age difference, but the brother is so intolerant of his sister. It is indeed a problem. Ji-Fei also laughed and couldn't help complaining in his heart. They are in an online relationship, but they have never met in real life. Are they really not afraid of photo fraud and face swapping? However, because of Grandpa's 90th birthday, he decided to bring his girlfriend to the birthday party. After meeting her, I can only wish him a happy online relationship. As for my sister, she is having an underground relationship with an esports player. She is so fascinated by his face and skills that she is pouring money into him. This is a love story between a rich man and an esports player. It seems that she also wants to bring him to the 90th birthday party. Because of fourth Uncle Qin's family's amusement, the atmosphere was maintained well until dinner. Everyone finished dinner together, chatted for a while, and then took a rest. Qin Xian's family and fourth Uncle Qin's family naturally live directly in the old house. The eldest aunt and his wife also live here. The eldest cousin Qin Yi seems to be afraid of going back to his home, so he simply lives in the old house. But the eldest cousin and his family want to go back to their own residence, and naturally the third Uncle Qin's family also wants to go back to their own home. Only two people unexpectedly didn't leave. One is Yang Weiwei. She and Qin 11 have become good friends and relatives. Naturally, they want to play for a while longer. The eldest cousin can only leave Yang Weiwei to her parents. So the two children continued to play in the manor. The other one was Qin Jiexi. It was Qin Rong who strongly invited her to stay and live with her, saying that she was scared to live alone. After all, Qin Yan had to live with her son, so Qin Rong couldn't rely on her mother or second sister-in-law. In addition, she was also worried that Qin Jiexi would be bullied when she returned, so she tried her best to persuade her to stay. As a result, before third Uncle Qin could say anything, Qin Han was the first to refuse. As soon as Qin Lao's family saw the boy's expression, they knew that he was holding back nothing. They were probably just waiting to go back and vent their anger on Qin Jiexi. This was definitely not possible. Let Qin Jiexi go. Fortunately, Uncle Qin had nothing to say and Qin Jiexi stayed successfully. In fact, Qin Jiexi was really mentally prepared at the beginning. She seemed to have expected how she would be treated if things did not develop as her mother and brother wanted. However, she did not expect to be intercepted from the beginning. She was really I am at a loss. When her father and brother really left, looking back, the younger generation was busy waiting for her to drink and chat in the living room. Although she still doesn't speak much, no one rushes her. They get along naturally and harmoniously, which is a comfort she has not felt in many years. That night, everyone was happy, chatting and drinking, and finally Qin Xian took Ji-Fei back to the room to rest. Suddenly Ji-Fei struggled in his arms, as if trying to wake up. "What's wrong? Are you feeling uncomfortable?" Qin Xian wanted to help Ji-Fei lie down. Ji-Fei frowned and said, "Sleep, where are you sleeping?" Qin Xian was stunned and said, "The newly built building." Ji-Fei's eyes were still closed, and she frowned as if she had been thinking for a while before loosening her eyebrows. "Is this your first time living here too?" Qin Xian paused for a moment, his eyes filled with soft light. "Well, this is my first time staying here." They live in a modern villa building newly built in this manner in recent years, not the main building of the old house. In fact, only the two owners, the old man and Grandma Lu, live there permanently, so there is no need to build additional buildings. However, they insist on building them. The purpose is to help Qin Xian avoid all possible dangers to him when Qin Xian can come one day. Uncomfortable place. Naturally, he would not be allowed to live in his childhood room in the old house. Although Qin Xian didn't say anything on the surface, he was touched in his heart, and Ji Fei was still thinking about him even when he was drunk, which also made his heart beat. Just as he was about to lower his head and kiss Ji Fei suddenly raised his head and bumped into Qin Xian's forehead. Qin Xian helplessly raised his hand to touch Ji Fei's forehead, and heard Ji Fei say, "Well, take a bath, it's time to take a bath, husband, I can't move, help me wash it." Qin Xian.